Y'all, I moved into a haunted house. And to make it even worse, it was in the projects. So in like March or April of 2023, I moved into a townhouse down the way on 33rd, y'all. So my first night in there, it was just me and my son. And my son, he keeps coming to my room telling me that somebody is coming up the stairs. Like, his room was the first room when you got to the top of the stairs. So, like, when you got up there, you turn right, it was his room, and in the middle was mine. He keeps coming in my room. Like, the first night we in there, he like, yeah, mommy, I think somebody is at the bottom of the stairs. I think, someone's coming up the stairs, or they're either, like, at the bottom of the stairs, but I keep hearing somebody on the stairs. So I just try to reassure my son, like, oh, you know what, maybe you just hearing, like, the house settle, or maybe you hearing the neighbors, because we do live in a townhouse. He would not go to bed. He just insisted that somebody was on the stairs. So I just let him sleep with me, and I closed my door and just went on about my night. So I just had took it, like, maybe he was just having a little bit of trouble adjusting to the new house, or, maybe he was just scared, or, him just being a kid. Y'all, after that, shit just started getting weirder. So this is like one night, a couple weeks later, I leave home, and I left my phone at home. And so my location is showing that I'm at home, but I'm not answering my phone or nothing like that. So my friends got worried, and they went to my house to look for me. Like, they go there, but once they get there, all the lights is off in the house, my car not outside or whatever. So they're like looking in the house. They're looking in the kitchen window. Y'all, they say as they looking in there, they can see somebody like walk from the kitchen into the living room, but they can only see like the bottom half of his body. They cannot see. They see it's a boy, and they say he had on like black sweatpants and with like a white line in the middle, and they say he had on like tennis shoes, but they could not see nothing above his torso. So they're like, oh, Jay, Jay dude must be over there or something, and she just maybe not accept the company or whatever. So they just brush it off and they leave. The next day I see them and I'm talking to them. They like, yeah, last night we came to your house. There was a dude walking around in your kitchen and we seen him. We just thought you ain't want to be bothered. And I'm like, no, nobody was in my house last night. I was gone. Like, my house was empty. So I don't, now at this point, I don't really know like what's going on or whatever. So after this, like, shit just kept happening. Like, weird shit just kept happening. So one night I drop my son off at my baby daddy's sister house, and I leave him there, and I go home and I call my baby daddy. And he's like, as I'm talking to him or whatever, I tell him, like, mid-conversation, like, yeah, I dropped baby G off already, and he gone. And he like, well, if he gone, then who was that talking in the phone when I first got on the phone? Like, it was a little kid talking. I'm like, stop trying to scare me, because I'm at home by myself, whatever and whatever. He like, no, I'm not playing. I thought that, he was over there with you, because it was just a kid talking in the phone. So I'm like, you know what, maybe he was hearing the TV or whatever. I keep just trying to debunk everything myself. So y'all, I go to bed that night and I wake up the next morning, and I want to say it's like right before or as the sun is like, rising. So it's probably like 6 in the morning, and I wake up and I go to the bathroom. Now my room was in the middle, so I had to walk past my son's room to get to the bathroom. As I walk past his room, I hear like a little kid in there talking, like, making noise, like, like, just humming or whatever, like a little kid. So I'm sitting on the toilet or whatever, and I'm I'm still half asleep or whatever. So I'm in my head like, oh my God, I gotta try to, like, get him to lay back down, get him to go back to bed, whatever. He probably gonna be hungry. He gonna want me to go downstairs, make him some food. And it dawned on me, y'all, I dropped my son off last night. So I go in the room, I'm looking around in the room, ain't nothing in there. The TV not on, nothing. But I know, as sure as my name is what it is, I just heard somebody in this room. So, I just keep like rebuking whatever it is that's happening or whatever, but I'm really in my head, I'm trying to ignore it. So after that situation, another time I am going down the stairs. At this particular time, I was at home by myself with nobody in the house but me. And I was just, like cleaning up, straightening up the house or whatever. So I'm going down the stairs. And okay, I forgot to mention that I was pregnant. So I was probably like, I don't even know. I was probably like 7-8 months pregnant. I am walking down the stairs, and I feel 5 fingers and a hand in my back, and somebody pushed me off the stairs. Like, I went flying up the stairs. I went flying from maybe like the 4th, maybe like the 3rd or 4th step. So I hit the floor, and I hurt like my ankle, I think. And, so I'm, at this point, I just start praying and rebuking whatever it is that's, in the house or whatever. And, if the next day, like the very next day, I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs. My son is back home at this point. I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs, and I'm waiting on my son to come downstairs, and I'm ready for him to, like, get dressed so we can go. And he gets to, like, the third or the fourth step, and he flies off the stairs. Like, I'm standing there looking at him. He didn't, mess up his footing. He didn't misstep. He didn't trip. He flew off them stairs. Now, I cannot remember who I talked to after, I've seen this, after I'm witnessing all this, but I talked to somebody, and it was a lady, and she ended up telling me, like, whatever is happening in your house, whoever is in your house, whatever spirit or whatever happened before you stayed there, it's centered around the steps in your house. Like, a lot of the activity was around the stairs, but, like, other stuff was always happening. Like, whenever I was on the phone with somebody, they always could say that they could hear, like, a baby crying or a little kid talking or, stuff like that. It was very weird. So now, y'all, it's summertime at this point. Like, we into the summer, so it's maybe, like, June. And I had my little sister over my house, and she had stayed there one night and babysat my son. So I had came home the next morning because I had been out all night. And I came home the next morning, and I asked my son, like, who was over here last night? Trying to see if my sister had somebody in my house. So he's like, wasn't nobody over here last night, mommy. It was just me, Sheree, and Jawan. I said, who the fuck is Jawan? My son say, Jawan, my friend, he be over here at night. I'm like, so I go and I'm trying to ask my sister, like, who is Jawan? Like, who do you know that's named Jawan? He like, she like, I don't know nobody named Jawan. I'm like, you gotta know somebody named Jawan, because Baby G said you had somebody named Jawan over here, whatever. My sister is like, no, I didn't. I don't even know nobody named Jawan. Now, at this point, I'm thinking that she has coached my son into telling me that, like, Jawan is somebody, like, he done made up in his head or something. Because Jawan ain't no name that no 4-year-old gonna just come up with, The next day, we send downstairs, and the mail come through the door. So I told you I live down the way. So when you live down the way, it's just a hole in the door that the mail come through. And we send downstairs, and the mail come through the door, and it hit the floor. And I tell my sister, get in and tell me, like, who it's addressed to. Is it, is it for me? If it's for me, open it. My sister say, no, this ain't for you. This ain't for nobody that live here. This for somebody named Jawan.